It's not telling me that I'm on Facebook yet. It seems to be thinking about it now. Come on, Facebook, you can do it. I know I'm live here on Instagram, so you all hang on because we're waiting for the gears of Facebook to grind into place. If you are on Facebook, I think I'm live on Facebook now. This is always so suspenseful. Hannah Mary McKinnon and I talk about this every week about how we never quite know exactly what's going to happen with the wonderful technology. It's useful, right? Hey, Jenny. Hey, Glennie. Hey, Carol. Hey, Sarah and Carol from La Mirada. This is so great. And Jen and Danny. Oh, that's so nice to see you on Instagram. At least I know I'm here on Instagram and I appear to be live here on Facebook. Leave me a comment. Yes, thank you, Hannah. All right, we got this done. It's wonderful. It's Thursday. It's 12:30 p.m. and this is episode 99 of First Chapter Fun. I'm Hank Philippi Ryan, and with me is my partner in fictional crime. We will get that right at some point, Hannah Mary McKinnon in Canada. And as I said, I'm in Boston for episode 99 of First Chapter Fun with Andy Bartz's The Herd. And I see Andy has joined us on Facebook. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is such a terrific book. Oh, yes, this is working perfectly. There's my ring light, looking perfectly on Facebook. So excited to read from The Herd this morning. It is a chilling, timely, contemporary sort of cautionary tale about when you work with a lot of women, what could possibly go wrong? Not like First Chapter Fun. And we have men here too. So all are welcome. All are welcome. And this is episode 99 of First Chapter Fun. Outside my window, you can see it's very sunny, and you can see the sun blasting in my face, and the leaves are falling here in Boston. It's quite a beautiful time of year. Very odd that we have been in quarantine for so long. And so welcome. This is why First Chapter Fun was started by Hannah back in March, to sort of make a community of readers and writers and to introduce you to new books that you might not have known about, because we're all sort of staying home and the bookstores are barely open. The ones that are, we need to say, please go to your independent bookstores and buy books. Those people, those bookstores that have supported us and helped us and nurtured us, are really struggling. If you have one in your hometown that you love, call them, go online to them, have a curbside pickup from them. Any of you could just go buy The Herd from them. Just go say, I want The Herd. I heard it on First Chapter Fun this morning, and because you will love it. On Facebook. All right, this is wonderful to see you all. Hi, Beth. Hi, Brenda. Thank you, Brenda, for telling me that I'm on Facebook. You kind of never know. Thank you, Jamie. That's so great. And as I said, Andy Bartz is here, and we're so pleased to read from her book this morning. Glennie and Deborah and Carla and Elizabeth. This is so great. You all are wonderful to be here this morning. I'm flipping through on Instagram to make sure I say hello to you all. Tracy saying thumbs up. Tracy Clark, whose book we read, and Jen Jumba in Ohio is saying it's 100, the 100th episode Eve. So do we get presents for that, Hannah? I think we do. Actually, that reminds me that I think we do get presents. Look what arrived from Elle Herd via Hannah. Elle made Hannah and me these First Chapter Fun decals for our cars. I mean, that is the nicest thing. Thank you, Elle, for sending these to us. I'm trying to think of where I could put this. I don't see my car that much these days, which is kind of odd. So I'm trying to see if I can put it somewhere where I will notice it all the time. Let me remind you also, and I know I've told you about this before, but it bears repeating because our own Hannah Mary McKinnon is going to be one of the headline authors on First Chapter Fun this Sunday, October 18th at 1 p.m. Eastern. She's on a marvelous panel with Angie Kim and Christina McDonald. And who else, Hannah? Remind me who else is on that panel. It's a wonderful, wonderful group of people. And I am just spacing now about the fourth wonderful person who is on that panel. Angie Kim, Hannah Mary McKinnon, Ausma Khan. Okay, Ausma Zahanat Khan, who is also lives in Canada. She's a marvelous author. You'll love meeting them all. So go to bksp.org, and sign up for this free panel. And you know that in the back room, what we do is we start out with a quick game of 20 questions. So Hannah, get ready for that. Even though I love you madly, I'm not going to tell you what the questions are because I'm the host of this event, this particular event. So quick 20 questions, and then all the participants go into separate breakout rooms of say 20 people in each room. And each of the 4 authors spends 15 minutes in each of the breakout rooms. So you can really talk up close and personal as Zoom can be with each author. Everybody's mics are on, everybody's video is on if you want it to be. So you can really talk to the other authors. You can really ask them questions. I mean, it's lovely. We love First Chapter Fun, and we love that you're all here, and we love reading out loud to you, but we only get to hear from you in the comments, right? But if you go to bksp.org and sign up for Hannah Mary McKinnon's panel on Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern, you can talk to Hannah, and she can talk to you, and you can see her, and you can hear her, and she can see you, and you can hear her. I know exactly. Ausma, Hannah is reminding me. Hey Sue. Hey Susan. Hey Glennie. Yes, the 20 questions are pretty funny. And Hannah's saying that she attended Tuesday's event as a guest, and it is really fun. So and the back rooms, the breakout back rooms, are not recorded. The 20 questions are recorded, but the back rooms are not recorded. So you can say anything you want, and you can talk about anything you want. And for readers, it's a wonderful way to get involved with authors and really meet them and get them to know you. And I have to say, secretly, for authors, if you want to meet these people and connect with them, we don't get to network very much, right, in person. This is a wonderful way to do that. Jen is saying she came, yeah. I was so happy to see a friendly face there and somebody that I really know at Tuesday's event. So Hannah's putting up to register here. Oh, here's the final thing about this, and then we'll go on to Andrea Bartz's The Herd. And Andrea, we'd love to have you as a panelist in the back room, so let me know about that. That there was something else that I was going to tell you. Oh, yeah. So the other cool thing about the back room is that we can arrange to have, for instance, all of the First Chapter Fun gang in the same private breakout room. So if you put, when you sign up, when you register, put VIP pass, Hannah and Hank sent me, we will see if we can get all of us together in one breakout room together, and that would be really great. Hey, Kristen Bear O'Keefe just joined on Instagram, and we will be reading her book coming up soon. Agatha Arch is Afraid of Everything, which just got a starred review from Publishers Weekly, so that is great. Congratulations, Kristen. And I see Andy on Instagram as well, multitasking. So you're going to sign up for bksp.org and join us in the back room. Put VIP pass. Hank and Hannah sent you, and we'll make sure you get in, and we can all be in the same breakout room together, and that'll be great. So without further ado, and that's for Jen Jumbo, who always says she loves the ado, let me give you a tiny bit more of a do. If we get booted from here on Instagram or here on Facebook, don't worry, it's probably us, it's probably not you, but we will come back and do the chapter over, so it will be there, and then we'll put it in our archives in IGTV on Instagram and on Facebook, on Instagram on IGTV and on Facebook, and I think it says media videos now because they are changing Facebook every minute of every day, as if we didn't have enough to keep up with in our regular lives, right? So, okay, so let's read a little bit. Let me tell you a little bit about Andrea Bartz, and tell you a little bit about The Herd. And again, thank you, Allie, for this wonderful decal. I will really treasure this. And it's, the other thing about it, that Hannah sent it to me by mail, and I realized that I had never seen Hannah's handwriting before. So that was a little fun moment of, Hannah and I know each other via the internet. So there's really no reason for us to have ever seen each other's handwriting. So I don't know, it just seemed like a sweet moment to me. So thank you, Hannah. Thank you, Elle, for the adorable and thoughtful decal for my car or something, wherever I decide to put it. Hey, Catherine, so you all ready? Are you cozy? Are you sitting back? Do you have your cup of tea or coffee or Diet Pepsi or water or whatever you have this morning? My husband made me a latte this morning. I mean, that's good. That's a nice thing. All right, let me tell you about Andrea Bartz. Let me tell you about Andrea Bartz. Ready for this? Andrea Bartz is a Brooklyn-based journalist and author of The Lost Night and The Herd. Her work has appeared in the Wall Street Journal and Marie Claire, Vogue, Cosmopolitan, Women's Health, Martha Stewart Living, Redbook, Elle, and many other outlets. Wow. And she's held editorial positions at Glamour, Psychology Today, and Self, among other titles. Remember when, Glamour magazine, for me, that was just always the pinnacle of places. If you could work at Glamour or Vogue, that was what you wanted to do. So I'd love to hear about it. So a little bit about The Herd. This is the book we're reading from today, The Herd. And it is out now from Random House. And thank you so much to Andy and to Random House for letting us read from your novel. Here's a little bit about The Herd. Why did the founder of a glamorous co-working space for women disappear? Her best friends will risk everything to uncover the truth. The name of the elite women-only co-working space stretches across the wall behind the check-in desk, The Herd, the H-E-R, always in purple. In-the-know New Yorkers crawl over each other to apply for membership in this community that prides itself on mentorship and empowerment. Among the hopefuls is Katie Bailey, who's just returned from the Midwest after a stint of book research blew up in her face. Luckily, Katie has an in, thanks to her sister, Hannah, an original herder and best friends of Eleanor Walsh, its charismatic founder. Eleanor is a queen among the Herd's sun-filled rooms, admired and quietly feared, even as she strives to be warm and approachable. As head of PR, Hannah is working around the clock in preparation for a huge announcement from Eleanor, one that would change the trajectory of the Herd forever. Though Katie loves her sister's crew, she secretly hopes she's found her next book subject in Eleanor, who's brilliant, trailblazing, and extremely private. Then, on the night of the glitzy Herd news conference, Eleanor vanishes without a trace. Everybody has a theory about what made Eleanor run, but when the police suspect foul play, everybody is a suspect. Eleanor's husband, other herders, the men's rights group that have had it out for the Herd since its launch, even Eleanor's closest friends. As Hannah struggles to figure out what her friend was hiding, and Katie chases the story of her life, the sisters must face down the secrets they're keeping from each other and confront just how dangerous it can be when women's perfect veneers start to crack, crumble, and then fall away altogether. And that is a description of The Herd, which we are reading from this morning. Andy's saying working at Glamour was such a dream. Oh, I bet it was. And I want you to tell us all about it. Did they really have rooms of clothes and racks of shoes and purses, and you could pick from everything, just sort of like The Devil Wears Prada? That's sort of how I imagine it, just like that. Beth Jones is saying, lucky you for the latte. Yeah. And Lisa says, we're going to have to get together for lunch one day. Oh, we dream of it. We totally dream of it. Hannah and I, you mean. That's my husband. Hi, Jonathan, in the background. You can see him on Facebook, I think, going down to the basement. That's nice. Anyway, everybody is welcome here. So are you ready? I can read to you from the first chapter of The Herd. Now, I should tell you that The Herd begins with a prologue, which I'm not going to read you because I want you to get the fun of reading that for yourself. But suffice it to say about the prologue that something really bad and scary has happened, but we don't know exactly what, and we don't know exactly who to. So we'll now start the first chapter of The Herd. And chapter 1 is labeled Katie. Monday, December 9th, 10:48 a.m. Katie. My body tensed before I knew what I was seeing. Strobes of red and blue, the universal sign of an emergency. I paused and squinted at the squad car across the street, its lights flashing, eerier for the lack of a siren. I breathed deeply, commanded my chest to relax. 2 weeks back in New York City, and despite everyone's warnings, the sounds, the smells, the crush of people, and the hulking cliffs of steel and glass, none of it bothered me. None of it took any reassimilation. But this was the first manic police light I'd seen, and like Pavlov's bell, it had made every muscle tighten. I crossed the street and realized the two cops standing bored on the road were not just blocking my entrance. They appeared to be at the herd, speaking to a wisp of a woman in an impressively flattering parka. I leaned forward and flashed my widest smile. "Excuse me, I'm sorry to interrupt." They flicked their heads my way, annoyed. "Is it okay for me to go in?" I pointed at the door behind them. "Are you a member?" the woman asked. "I have an appointment with Eleanor." She raised her eyebrows and sighed. "I'm Hannah's sister." She took half a step back. "Oh, go on up. The Gleam room's closed, but everything else is business as usual." I thanked her and hurried out of the cold to wait for the single elevator. The Gleam room? What the hell is the Gleam room? On the 10th floor, the doors slid open and I stepped out into a sunlit entryway. I paused, momentarily stunned. I'd seen the floor shortly after Eleanor had first rented it, had even donned a hard hat and closed-toed shoes for a tour shortly before I'd left town. But that hive of dust and drywall and sweaty contractors had little in common with the space before me. It had the girly chicness of a magazine office, but without the clutter or bustle. Here, everything was calm. Sunlight spilled in from the windows. It was warm but not stuffy, and the air smelled vaguely of plumiera. A woman with the glossy French braid pigtails and molded spectacles smiled at me from behind a marble-fronted desk. On the wall behind her was the now famous logo, the Herd, H-E-R, a deep plum, and the other letters gray. She checked me in, had me scribble my finger across an iPad in the wild snarl I counted as my signature. Then she gestured toward the nearest lounge. "Eleanor will get a notification that you're here," she said brightly, touching off a little chirrup in my chest. "Feel free to take a seat." I thanked her and stepped inside the room, which was ringed with forest green booths and benches, a few sofas and armchairs clustered at the center. I peeled off my coat and sent a text. "You here?" I heard Hannah before I saw her, her heels clacking along the parquet floor. Hannah enters any room like Lily Tomlin in an 80s office comedy. "Katie!" she cried, arms wide. "I take back everything I said into her shoulder. "This place is unreal, Hannah." She took a step back, evaluating. "That's the Katie I know," she said, tapping my shoulder. "You've been off your game the past couple of weeks. I was beginning to worry Kalamazoo had permanently killed off your sense of humor." Ah, yes, Hannah coming in hot with the thinly veiled criticism. "Don't scapegoat Michigan. I've just been getting my bearings." I looked beyond her. "Is Mickey here? Oh, and do you know what's going on this morning? There are cops by the door." She frowned. "Somebody broke in last night. Spray painted some obscenities in the Gleam room." I held up a finger. "Is that a fancy term for the bathroom? Because I will not abide that nomenclature." She laughed. "It's a beauty room with mirrors. You can hire someone to do your hair or makeup or just use the products there, like if you have a meeting or audition or a date to go to." A few members floated by, all perfectly coiffed and clad in stylish, breezy outfits. "Good, because everyone here looks like shit," I remarked. A woman with a black bun, the exact size and shape of a bagel, paused behind Hannah, leaning in expectantly. Hannah noticed her and jumped. "Katie, this is Aurelia," Hannah said. She's the head member relations coordinator. She looked younger than me, early 20s, impossibly chic in a tailored black jumpsuit, a radiant smile, teeth like pearls. So you're Hannah's sister. It clicked. She was the woman I'd seen out front. I shook her hand enthusiastically, and she didn't do the annoying double take we often get when people learn we're siblings, the back and forth between Hannah's thick dark hair, golden brown eyes, and dark skin, and me, bland as a cornfield. Eleanor mentioned you were coming, she said. You just moved back, right? She was researching a book in Michigan, Hannah jumped in. She's a journalist. Whoa, what's the book about? I'd been practicing this on the subway ride here. There's this small technology company there, I said, that sort of stumbled into the lucrative world of reality manipulation, fake news, convincing bots, that kind of thing. I wrote a feature about them for Wired, and now I'm expanding it into a book. That's so interesting. Something in her eyes unsettled me, a quivering intensity. Eleanor and I were just talking about the falsity of the online world, how everyone's craving real connection. She said, I'm so sorry, but she has an interview. Hannah's teeth gleamed as she sent Aurelia away. When she'd gone, Hannah shrugged. She's sweet, but she'll talk your ear off. I want you to be focused before your big herd interview. Hopefully Eleanor will go easy on me. I glanced around. I think people are looking at us. Are you and Mickey basically celebrities? Hannah rolled her eyes, but I could sense her pride. The herd employed Hannah as its part-time publicist, and Mickey, another of their friends from Harvard, was its freelance graphic designer. More important, the two freelancers were Eleanor's confidants, part of her tiny inner circle. Now everyone in the room was feigning disinterest in us, too subtle to gaze at Hannah head on. Instead, they tilted their high cheekbones and typed rapidly into their keyboards. Anyway, make yourself at home. I'll find Mickey. Hannah took off, her heels clicking. I strode after her and peered into the next room, the one that had just swallowed her up. White bookshelves stretched from corner to corner, the books organized by color. So neatly aligned, I wanted to shove one out at an odd angle, fling a few books onto the floor just to see what would happen. Farther in there was a vast sunny room, and off to the side, a short hallway plastered in hip wallpaper, a pattern of illustrated red lips smirking and smiling and sticking out their tongues. Someone had sealed off the hallway with a strip of Scotch tape, a post-it in the middle, proclaiming, "Closed for a minute," the Gleam Room. I wondered again what was scrawled on its walls, what merited that squad car out front. Then Hannah and Mickey burst in from the sunny room, marching out to meet me near the doorway. When she hugged me, Mickey smelled the way I remembered, sweet and a little musky. Winter be damned, she was wearing a crocheted halter top and loose pants covered in an elephant print, her feathered 70s-style hair in crumpled curls, her face bare. For fuck's sake, Hannah, why didn't you offer to take her coat? Mickey pulled at the leather jacket slung over my forearm. Come on, let me give you the tour, and then I want to hear all about Minnesota. Michigan. Shit, this is how badly I need an update. She grinned, freckles dancing on her cheeks, and spun toward the sunlight at the far end of the space I'd hoped to see Mickey a few weeks ago. She'd hosted a big Misfit Toys Friendsgiving in her rent-controlled ramshackle apartment. But when the day had come, I'd been too tired and disoriented to attend. Hannah announced she had to answer some emails and split off as Mickey pointed out a chic cafe counter along a wall. Avocado toast on vintage-looking plates sliding across its marble top. Coffee is free, she said, but everything else is expensive. She bopped along, smiling serenely, oblivious to the herders stealing glances at us as we passed Mickey's superpower. Mickey's superpower is that she very rarely cares about anything, really. When I'd announced my book deal on Facebook, my most liked post to date, she'd commented only to say the CEO of the company I was writing about was sort of hot. At the time, it had stung, but now her cheerful indifference was a relief. One less person pressing me about my research, the months that had got bunched up and knotted and ended with ambulances, with sirens chopping the air. She and I hooked right toward a final set of doors. One led into the bathroom, and one was marked Move with a faint capital L behind the M. But it was the third door that Mickey took me through, into a small room with birchwood lockers on one side and clothing racks on the other, holding a rainbow of coats. You can pay for a locker if you want to keep stuff overnight, Mickey said, plunging a hanger into my jacket's shoulder, but nobody really steals anything. Just now I left my laptop out on a table. She gestured back into the sun-splashed room with its blue velvet workstations and glossy acrylic chairs girdling a long medieval-looking table. Everyone so well vetted. Except that someone broke in last night, right? A vandal? I followed her back into the brightness. Aren't people freaked out? She leaned in, lowered her voice. Babe, most people don't know. But it's weird. You need a bunch of different keys to get in. I don't even have them all. And the security camera in the elevator, it's motion activated. No footage from last night. She paused in front of the lipstick wallpaper, the makeshift police tape, then ducked and ran past it like a slapstick ninja. I stifled a giggle and followed. Eleanor will be so mad if she sees us, she hissed, leading me into the taped-off room and fumbling for the light switch. What was in the room? What was in the room? You have to read The Herd to find out what was in the room. So you now see the chic, glossy, sunny workspace of The Herd. It's really, this is really such a it's a scary book and a chilling book and a wonderful mystery. And it's such an insight into New York and New Yorkers and what it was like at a certain time with the empowerment of women and how that sort of all went wrong in some places. It's also about belonging, right? And wanting to have a group of people who are behind you and supportive, and then how there's always like somebody who rises to the top to try to control everyone else. I remember when I went to college, I went to a college that didn't have sororities because I was so afraid that no sorority would want me that I thought, okay, well, I'll go to a place that doesn't have them so nobody can turn me down. So the idea of belonging is something that's so deep in our hearts, and when that gets twisted and corrupted and used, it's really scary. So that is, you can see, that is, I sort of was, and I really, this is quite the novel. Really insightful, really emotional, and so full of knowledge about how New York can work. And I'd love to ask Andy, she can talk to us later on in the comments about it. And that reminds me, ask Andy in the comments on, I wish my phone would stop doing that. Come on. Okay, I should have turned that off. I'd set my text thing to really beep when someone texts me so I don't miss it, and now it really beeps when someone texts me and I don't miss it. Anyway, Andy Bartz is saying, my friend described it as an escape room from my brain. My books are a little puzzle box like. Yeah, it's great. And when all the pieces start to come together, that's really great. So I was saying, ask Andy questions in the comments. She's here today to answer them. How she did the research. I mean, these places are so famously exclusive and private, and whether she ever belonged to one of these women-only co-working spaces, or whether she covered them in her reporting days. She does generally as a travel writer before she did this, so I wonder how she came across this, or whether it's based on something real. But do that in Facebook, on the comments on Facebook, because ridiculously, when we put the videos on IGTV from here on Instagram, that all disappears, all the comments disappear. So it's lovely. Sarah is saying, great read, thank you. Andy's saying, thank you, amazing. Thank you all. It's so gratifying. It's so terrifying to read these books because the authors really are entrusting Hannah and me with their words. And so I'm glad you enjoyed it. The herd is marvelous. So thank you, Andy, for entrusting us with that today. And let us know when your next book comes out. And you all ask Andy questions. She will be happy to answer them. Now, and thank you, Andy, so much for being here today with the herd. I'll give you that one last cover look. Someone is silenced by the purple, you might say, or someone is about to be trampled by the herd. But who is it and why? Thank you so much for being here today, Andy. As always, Hannah and I have some wonderful surprises coming up for you in the next weeks and months. So we are thrilled that you're here, and I love seeing all the new names of people who have joined us today. Bring your friends, this community. Carrie, thank you so much for being here. Catherine, my pleasure. Elizabeth, yeah, you know, it's so nice to see you all and so nice to know you all. And I do hope we can get together in person at Hannah's event on Sunday in the back room, bksp.org. Say Hannah and Hank sent you, and we can all be together. So for episode number 100, I will just let that sink in. We have Iona Wishaw's An Old Cold Grave. Don't you love that cover, that hard-edged representational cover? I think those are so beautiful. An Old Cold Grave by Iona Wishaw, and she will be here, and we will be here reading this to you on Tuesday. Did you see this on Facebook? You should see my little setup here. It's very, very complicated. Anyway, we will read you the first chapter of Iona Wishaw's in an old cold grave. And here we go. Instagram has just booted me, and now I'm back. Sarah saying, I found both of you and Hannah from Brendan Novak. Oh, that's fabulous. Hannah's book, Sister Dear, and my book, The First to Lie, were both featured as books of the month by the fabulous Brenda Novak. And if you love Brenda Novak, I will just give you a tiny little clue about what first chapter we'll be reading in a month or two. So stick around. That'll be great to have Brenda. So until episode number 100, which you better be here for on Tuesday, because you never know what's going to happen, right? Until then, stay safe, stay kind, and we will see you next time. Love you so much.